Hello. I guess I don't really know where I'm going with this, but this is going to be my very first video that I'm posting. For the sake of privacy, I really just don't want to show myself just yet because I just want to focus more on my mental state right now, and I'll be perfectly honest. Sharing my thoughts out loud is pretty intimidating, but at the same time, I feel like showing my identity is even scarier because, I don't know, maybe it's some form of self-sabotaging, but I just feel like I'm not ready yet, and I guess I'm afraid of what other people will think if I share my thoughts out loud. But I wanted to publish this so that way maybe there were people out there who would listen and maybe they would understand where I'm coming from. But basically, I created this channel because I wanted to basically process what it means to grow and heal through a time where you are recovering from a moment of trauma, from a dark episode, or really just any event of any emotion that doesn't revolve around happiness. And I want to remain as unfiltered as possible. Interestingly, I say that even though there's literally a filter in my thumbnail, but I want to keep my thoughts open, and I apologize in the future if I do stutter or if I lose my train of thought. That's just how I am. But this whole channel will revolve really on mental health and just my journey, so please feel free to listen. And I guess one of the first things that I do want to talk about is that no one really wants to be open about it, but mental health is exhausting. I'll just put it that way. Mental health is exhausting. It is so tiring because it feels like an endless cycle, and no matter how hard you work, there's always going to be that tipping point where you feel as if nothing matters anymore and you're at your lowest, when in reality that isn't true. I think what makes it really hard for me, especially right now, I will talk more about this in the future, is that I'm someone who is currently trying to get out from my lowest point in life. I feel like these past few months I've been going through just like really, really low times where I just don't feel motivated at all. I feel the need to be detached from other people because I'm comparing myself and I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, even though I know that that's not true. I know the value that I put into this world, but I want to be able to document and record these things so that way when I'm feeling like this again in the future, hopefully that wouldn't happen again, but I feel like it would, I can look back on these videos or maybe shorts and remind myself that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that sounds way more easier than said, but a part of me, as I'm trying to get out of this little depressive cycle, I wanted to figure out a way to remind myself what brings me joy. And I'm not necessarily talking about happiness. I'm talking about pure joy. I feel like there's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is something that is just so temporary, but at the same time, I feel like joy is something that should be long-term. Joy is something that comes and stays there for a while, whether there are good times and bad times. Joy, for me, roots from gratitude. It roots from reflection. It roots from being kind to myself and patient. But happiness, I feel like it just comes and goes, and I don't necessarily think about it. And I'll be honest, maybe I take it for granted sometimes, but that's what this main channel is about. So this won't necessarily, I wouldn't even call it a podcast. This is just me spilling out my thoughts, and if you're listening, please feel free to comment on what your experience has been like through mental health, and I would love to be a listener. Or if you feel like you can connect with me, or maybe you don't feel the same way, please go ahead and be open about your opinion, because I would love to hear it. But for now, I apologize for the poorly edited shorts, but I just decided to make those because I feel like that expresses the most authentic me. So if you're interested in learning more about my journey and just more thoughts that I have about mental health, please come by often, and maybe I will have a video posted. I will make sure that I keep up to date with this, because I feel like I just have a lot of endless thoughts that I feel the need to share. So if needed, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more on what this future channel can do. Thank you. And before I end this, if you're someone out there who's struggling with their health, I want to let you know that you are not alone, and things will take time. So let's go through it together. It's going to be okay. I promise.